Hello, guys. I'm Heidi Jorgensen, and this is going to be a very special podcast because it is a one and only. This is a one-episode series, and I have a special guest on here, and we're going to be talking about the Star Wars, Disney, canon, legends, everything in between. We're going to be breaking it down, so if you are not a Star Wars fan, hopefully by the end of this episode, you're going to be intrigued and you're going to want to go watch it for yourself. So without further ado, we're going to have our man, the myth, Star Wars professional, Robby. Come take a seat.
What's up, everybody? What's up? We're out here with the best. All right. I'm ready to just dive right into this, honestly.
This is getting cut out. No, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we want to know if this guy is we want to know if he's professional enough.
Yeah.
And so I put together trivia that he has not seen. He doesn't know the answers to these questions, and I want to make sure that he's a professional on the topic that we're talking about, which is Star Wars.
All right.
So starting off, what color is Mace Windu's lightsaber?
Purple.
Immediate. Who built C-3PO?
The GOAT, Anakin Skywalker.
What is the name of the Wookiee home planet? You got it.
I do got it. I got to think about it for a second. Shoot. Yo, cut this part out. Dude, how did I forget?
Starts with a K. Come on.
Kashyyyk.
Yes.
Kashyyyk. I knew it. All right.
All right. Well, you passed most of the test. I'm gonna take a sip of water.
Go ahead.
This is about to get crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know it is. Especially when you have someone as hype as me on this show right now. You don't even know what to expect. You really don't.
I'll tell you what I'm expecting.
What?
Answers. Let's get into it. First of all, I want to get to know you as a person and what your personal story about yourself goes along with the Star Wars media. All of it in total. Which era of Star Wars is your favorite? The original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, sequel trilogy, Clone Wars, whatever it is, and tell me why it is.
Okay. That's a good question. That's a good question, Heidi. I would say probably the prequel. I have to say the prequels. I grew up watching the prequels. I like the original trilogy just because of, Luke and it was cool seeing Darth Vader and fight around, but as I got older, I started to really want to know the backstory behind those events. Mm-hmm. So I started looking into the prequels, and then that's when I just really fell in love with just the character development of going into the actual original saga. So I said the prequels because I liked Anakin. Anakin's my favorite character in Star Wars. I think that his character development is definitely the most vast, and it's literally the biggest part of the story of Star Wars. So I'd probably say the prequels just for that reason.
Interesting.
What about you?
I have to say the sequel trilogy.
Okay.
Sequel trilogy is definitely my favorite, and it's not because of the latest trend to I really like Hayden Christensen or Natalie Portman. No, I really like how the love story progressed throughout the episodes. I do think my hot take in all of it is that the original trilogy has the best love story between. It's like a really weird love triangle between Luke, Leia, and Han.
Yeah.
As soon as we figure out that Luke and Leia are obviously siblings, Han is the better.
Yeah.
He's very charismatic, that guy.
Yeah.
He's very charismatic, and they got what's his name? Harrison Ford. Great pull. I think Harrison Ford playing Han Solo was probably one of the best things Star Wars did, especially with the Liam Neeson and Qui-Gon. I think that was a great
I like that. Yeah, that's a good take.
Who is the most underrated character?
Okay. This is actually, you know what? I got a good one here. Yeah. Most underrated character is Kylo Ren. Okay, now that may not sound like a crazy statement, but I would say he's underrated because he gets so much hate, and I think that his character development throughout the new Disney trilogy of Star Wars is absolutely tremendous. I think seeing him from The Force Awakens when he's very timid and he's conflicted between the light and the dark side is just, you can see Vader in him. Like, you can see where he gets that anger from, where he gets that, like, that lack of conviction. So I think he's a very underrated character for that matter. And I think that his lightsaber's baller. I mean, you can't go wrong with the crossguard lightsaber. Like, it's sick. He has a cracked kyber crystal, so it spits like it looks sick. It's sick. Yeah. Also, there's people don't like to admit it, but there's a little love story, love circle going on between Rey and Kylo throughout that entire series, which I think is cool, and I like that. And I think what they did in the Rise of Skywalker, the last episode, I like that a lot. That was the one thing I actually really liked from that movie. So I think Kylo Ren's fighting style, I think you see his emotions a lot better than you do with like Vader, because we don't really see that too much in like the original. I really like that part of the seeing him as a Sith. So I think he's definitely the most underrated character.
I think that like kind of convinced me a little bit to like go out and like say that Kylo Ren definitely does have an underrated story. That's for sure. And the fact that you brought up Darth Vader, because we don't get to see the making of him really.
Not really.
All we see is like if we're talking about episode 1 to 3, we see that like switch flip in his head, and he's like straight for Palpatine. There's nothing that keeps him from staying on the dark side or the light side, besides the fact that he's doing it all for Padme, and he thinks that he's still on the light side, which is not true. But that, I think that, obviously Kylo Ren, that's a crazy one. Myself personally, I think the most underrated character, I gotta say Han Solo. He has a really good story. And I liked, even though that Disney did cut the Legends, I liked that we got to see a lot more of a building of something new in the Solo movie. Even though we didn't really see him as a child, we just know that he was really good. He had everything down, like one of the best smugglers in the galaxy.
Yep.
Obviously got caught up in something with what's his face? The blob guy. What is his name?
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba. He got caught up with something with them.
It's alright though.
And then he got frozen.
Yeah, carbonated.
He got carbonated.
Yeah.
And then Jabba the Hutt kept him as like a little piece on his.
Yeah, I like that take. I mean, it's definitely like, I think he's definitely an underrated character for sure. But I mean, I guess you could argue that he's not an underrated character, because I feel like he has such a big part. When you think of like the original saga, you think, in my opinion, you think of Luke, you think of Han, you think of Leia, and then you think of Darth Vader. Those are the big four, I think. And maybe Chewbacca.
It's true.
But
It's true.
I think what you're saying, I think you're basing it more off of his actual character development.
Him coming up.
Yeah.
His come up.
Yeah, I like that. I think I guess you could say he's a very underrated character, and I think that the Solo movie did a good job of trying to like show us his past and trying to understand his actions to where it got him in the original. So I definitely think that's a good take, though, for sure.
Okay, if you could see this underrated character in the film series pertaining to Star Wars, what would you want to see? You said Kylo Ren, and like, what specifically would you want to see if Disney were to take this idea? Which, come on, Disney, listen to us. This as the fans.
Please.
What would you want to see them make more of Kylo Ren?
I would like to see, the biggest thing that I think I would like to see with Kylo Ren is I want to see him when he was training with Luke at the Jedi Temple from like I think it was the third generation of Jedi that Luke was trying to train at his temple. I would have loved to see what he was, like how he kind of grew up with that like Jedi attitude, with that instilled with him from Luke, because we all know that Luke had high expectations on Kylo as he was training to be a Jedi, especially with the temptation of the dark side, considering he has that Skywalker blood in him from, which stems from Anakin. So I would have definitely liked to seen like kind of some background, how he grew up. Did he have those moments of anger, fear, and rage where he would lash out, where you could see it coming? Because with Anakin, like, you could see it coming throughout the movies. Like, you can see his anger kind of start to progress and progress. Like, Anakin's mom passed away in the second movie. Like, you see him start to become more anger-filled, more rageful, like, and you start seeing his actions kind of dictate that. Especially if you watch the Clone Wars series, you'll start seeing that. So I would definitely like to see that. I think another thing I would like to see is Kylo, after he turns to the dark side. I would love to see what all the fans want to see, him bleed the Kyber crystal. Where did he get the Kyber crystal?
Yes.
I want to see that. Is it Vader's crystal?
take.
Is it the fan theory? Is it Vader's crystal? How did he crack it? Like, I want to see, where did he get the inspiration to wear the mask? He wasn't battle damaged. I want to see where all of this thought to be like Vader came from, and why does he want to be like Vader when he considered Vader a failure himself. So I just wonder where he gets some of these thoughts from. I think that'd be very interesting to see, and I want to see some more fights. Because in the comics, before they retconned it, cue Disney, I'd like to say that. Before they retconned all that,
End the interview.
Before that, I would have liked to seen the fights that we got to see him have with other Jedi before he starts turning to the dark side. I want to see that anger. So I think it's definitely a cool, interesting series.
You know, everything you said, I definitely agree with.
Dude, it would be fire. Disney, hear us out, please.
Please. YouTube.
Please.
YouTube, what's up? Put this on the page. Disney, come on. Come on.
Let's go.
Me, I guess my underrated character isn't really underrated. You already proved me wrong. I just really like Han Solo. I like how charismatic he is. I like how funny he is. I like how, like, drawn we are as the viewer to him as a person. Because obviously, like, we know why Leia fell in love. Harrison Ford is a good looking guy, but he played the role tremendously. He did it really well. And me as a character, like, me as not a character, but I wish I was. Me as the audience, I'm like, they've got something. There's something here.
Oh yeah.
And they did a great job of filming the movie Solo. Like, I love the movie Solo. A lot of people are like, ew, it's Disney. Well, yeah, we have a problem with Disney, cutting the legends. But so what they did with Solo was...
I agree. It was really good.
It was really good.
And the other thing that I like about that is with Han, throughout the movie, like, when you first see him in A New Hope, right? You kind of see him at the very, like, blatant, like, it's not, you don't see him very much throughout A New Hope. But when you do, you see him as, like, a hard smuggler. Like, you see him and he's doing one job and he's trying to gain parts so that way he can turn it into the Empire. And that's the only thing he cares about, is himself. He's self-centered. But as Leia starts becoming more involved, he sees how pretty she is, and that's what sparks. Like, you can see the sparks of, like, the love circle starting, and then you see his character development throughout it start turning a little bit more. Like, okay, like, you'll start seeing he's not as self-centered. Like, he's starting to do more actions to try and help Leia and the rebellion fight the Empire. So I think that's definitely, like, a cool thing to see throughout the saga. Because, like, I know a lot of characters, like, you don't really get to see that for many characters. Like, Leia, in my opinion, you don't really see much character development through Leia, through that original saga.
And then we find out she's a Jedi.
Exactly. So it's like, I think that's definitely a cooler part of Star Wars, is just the character development. So I think that's definitely it's a good take. It's definitely a good take.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on how the franchise is going under the current leadership, i.e. Disney? Because Disney bought Star Wars back in, was it 2014 is when it was finalized, and then as soon as they did that, boom, they cut all Legends. So whatever was canon previous before Disney is not canon anymore. I think besides obviously A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, those three I think would be pretty much canon because it is the original trilogy. But yeah, I want to hear your take. What do you think?
I just don't think that Disney did a great job with the production of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. And as a fan, once you start getting really involved with these movies, I think you can attest to this, like, you start watching everything. You start wanting to know everything, and you read, you see YouTube videos, you see everything on these, like, just intricate little parts that everyone's wondering, like, questions, and it all comes from the comics, and it's like, you find out all this information, and it makes sense with the timeline.
Yeah.
Like, it makes complete sense. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You start learning more as a fan. And then Disney, when you come in and you just wreck it, and you take it all out, it kind of sucks. So, and then it makes zero sense.
Tell 'em.
It makes zero sense. Like, it seriously makes zero sense. Like, the plot of, like, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker may be one of the worst plots I've ever seen for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Why are you grabbing Rey, a random girl off a junkyard Jakku, doing nothing, scavenging for parts? You're going to tell me that she's never been Force sensitive her entire life until that movie when she decides to pick up a lightsaber when she has to defend herself? Bro, like, come on. Are we being serious? Like, okay, yeah, she has a staff. Okay, that doesn't help you with a lightsaber in combat. Like, that's a bunch of crap, man.
I just wanted to take the mic for a second and say, like, I feel like they're trying to in this last trilogy. I'm gonna speak to the readers. I think they were trying to give it a Leia. They were trying to do a Leia, and they were trying to do a Leia. Because what did I say? Let me cook. They were trying to pull a Leia. How Leia, obviously Princess Organa, she being Padme and Anakin's daughter. Anakin obviously turned to the dark side. He's now Darth Vader. Padme being dead, she got adopted by two parents from Alderaan, and she's prepping to be princess. Obviously, they're not going to let her know that her father carries the Force with him, and they're not going to let her know that she has potential to carry the Force. And so they were trying to do another Leia, because Leia never got to hold a saber. Leia never got to do any of that stuff. We never see Leia hold a saber in the series.
No.
We never see that unless you're doing like background knowledge and you're Googling and you're safaring, whatever you're doing. You finally find out that Leia is a Jedi, or she was a Jedi, and you don't get to see this. And for Rey, you're looking at Rey, and obviously she has a staff, and she doesn't find out that she's Force sensitive. She doesn't find out until she obviously holds the saber. Yeah. And they were keeping Leia the whole time from holding a saber, from doing all that stuff. So then we never got to find out that she was on screen a Jedi.
Yeah, no, I like that. And the thing that sucks about Disney and what they're doing now is all of these spin-off series. Like, all right, don't get me wrong. Some of them are kind of cool. I actually mess with them. Mando,
Obi-Wan, Ahsoka.
Yeah, like
Andor.
Yeah, like Mando. So cool. I like The Mandalorian. I liked it.
I'll fight you there. Second, third season.
No, that's what I'm saying. They have
first season. I'll give you claps.
They had like the perfect plot, and it was good. Until when you start watching the series and start watching the episodes, and it backtracks all sorts of knowledge that we know. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, Boba Fett should not be in that series until literally like season 4, not season 3, because if you're going off the timeline, which they don't know the timeline, but if you look into it, the timeline is very off. Like, Boba Fett should not be into that series until at least a season 4, if there was a season 4 to come out, because in season 3 they're talking about Ahsoka after she escaped from being Order 66, which in this time, this is when she's like outlawed, and she has her white saber, so she's literally just like hiding. And out of nowhere, she pulls up into this. So we're like 10 years or so, like 10 years to like 12 years after Order 66. And then they're going to bring Boba Fett in 3, which is after 6 of the normal trilogy. Yeah. How does that make any sense? Because it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. But the Obi-Wan series, phenomenal. I like that. I actually really enjoyed the Obi-Wan series.
It was great. Disney did their big one with Obi-Wan. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one. I agree with that statement.
The flashbacks, they actually got real deal Hayden Christensen to come out and do the series, and then they got what is his name? I forgot his. Let me Google his
Ewan
name.
McGregor.
Yeah.
For Obi-Wan.
Yeah, they got him out. They did their big one with that one, even though they're a little older now.
Yeah.
Props to Disney for that, for bringing them back together.
Yeah,
On screen.
and the reason why that they're coming back out too for these series is because they know how much that the prequels matter to the fans. Like, people hated on Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. People didn't like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, which is just crazy to me now. But now people like him because they realize how much of a cliff and how much the downfall Disney has had an impact on Star Wars, and people want to see Anakin Skywalker.
We want to see the afters.
They want to see it.
We want to see what happens after.
And that's what makes these series good now. It's just the originality of it, of having the original actors from the prequels come back to play these amazing characters that we like to watch. That's what made Obi-Wan so good, because Ewan was there. You see him start becoming the old Ben Kenobi, not Obi-Wan Kenobi that we see in the prequels. We got to see it kind of start transitioning into A New Hope. So I like that. And then you get to see Hayden Christensen in the Vader costume, which is legit. We always wanted to see that.
So sick.
It's just, there's good parts they're doing, but they need to do it the right way, and they need to make it chronologically correct. But that's all I'm going to hate on Disney for now. But Disney, you have some work to do, and especially coming up with these next movies, y'all better cook, please. That's all I got to say.
My next question is, I could sit here and talk about the current leaders. Like, I could sit here and do it for hours.
Yeah, me too.
But these next questions are very hard hitting, and we want to get to them. What is your biggest Star Wars hot take or unpopular opinion?
I have two, but I'm gonna go with another one here. Kind of just mentioned it in the last answer from the other one, but I think that Hayden Christensen did a great job playing Anakin Skywalker. I think he did a great job. And people who hate on Hayden Christensen as Anakin, I don't know why. I seriously don't see their point. I don't see their argument. I think he did a great job. If you think of Anakin, I don't think of any other actor that could have played him better than that. Yeah. If I were to imagine Anakin, that's literally Anakin Skywalker right there. Mm-hmm. You don't think of anybody else. And I think he did such a great job, because when you think of Anakin, you think of, just without an actual actor, you think of, okay, how did he become this prominent Jedi that was so powerful and was probably going to be the best Jedi to ever live? You think of him so powerful but yet loving, and he cares so much for his wife that he will do anything for her, and he turns to the dark side just for her. You think of somebody who needs really good emotion and really good skills to play that role. And I think Hayden Christensen did a great job of that. You see him, even in the first movie, you see him, kind of take on that younger persona of Anakin, of him being more of a Padawan who's just, reckless and just wants to, get to the action because he knows how powerful he is. But as you get to episode 3, you see him become more of an adult, more of getting to that Jedi Knight level and almost master. He's a Jedi Knight now. He's almost a master. But the only thing holding him back is his attitude and his need for more. And I think that Hayden Christensen did a great job with just the dueling aspect of that too. The dueling was insane. None of that was actually CGI'd. All the dueling was actually all real. Yeah. He practiced extensively for the dueling scenes, and the emotion was perfect in every scene. When he needed anger was there. When he needed compassion, it was there. It was just literally perfect. You couldn't have asked for a better actor.
I definitely want to piggyback off of this and say that Hayden Christensen, he definitely very underrated. His acting skills in all 3 movies. He was obsessed. Remember when he was just I hate saying this, but slave boy.
Yeah.
And Padme, or Queen Amidala, comes in and is like, "Are you a slave?" Immediate, that look in that little boy's eye, even though that's not Hayden Christensen, that look in that little boy's eye, we see that he already has that sense of I'm gonna do something for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there for you. And then we see the second movie, and we're just like, wow, Hayden Christensen, he prepped himself to play that person who is extremely obsessed with Padme.
Yeah.
He wants to keep her safe. He wants to keep her alive. He will do anything for her. Mm-hmm. And he can turn, like you were saying, he needs, if he wants to show compassion, he'll show compassion. If he wants to be happy, he'll be happy. He's got that I don't know, there's something in his eye when he's acting on the camera. There's just something. He just does it perfect every time. Even, okay, people always hate, but he's like, when he's like, I hate sand.
Yeah.
I hate sand. It's so coarse.
It's just, like, that's the thing, too, with that line, like, that kind of came to me, too, when you were saying that. Like, it's literally, like, such a perfect line for the story of Anakin. Like, Anakin grows up as a slave in Tatooine, a big desert world, and he's a slave, and he just, his parents...
He's so smart.
Yeah.
Extremely smart.
Built a droid when he was, like, 8 years old or something, which is insane. Like, his own droid, C-3PO. But it's just crazy because it makes so much sense and for Anakin's story, and he plays it off so well. Like, you think about it, and it's just like that line is iconic now because it's just like, it's so primitive to who we know Anakin is, and that's just why it's so good. And he did such a great job. And the other thing I'd like to say is he did such a great job in Episode 3 of becoming Vader.
Oh.
Like, it is literally, like, perfect.
I have the high ground, Anakin.
Like, it's literally perfect when it comes to him and his relationship with Padme. Like, it's insane.
Liar!
He did such a great job. Like, I can go on for days about how good of an actor he was, and I still, like, you can't imagine anybody else. It's just Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker.
Exactly.
He's just the best. He's just the best.
He's the best.
He's just the best.
I couldn't, like, exactly what you're saying. I could not imagine him being anybody else. Seriously. Like, you see it and you're like, oh, there's these cringy lines. He's talking about sand. That's, like, level 1 flirting. Like, lower tier than that.
Yeah.
But it's like, you see his facial expression when he talks about the slightest thing. It's like, he wants Padme. He's pining for her.
And the cool thing about that is because it makes so much sense because he hates Sam because of his background, like having to live there. Like he doesn't want to remember that because he wants to live in the future where he knows he can be powerful with his abilities and where he wants to live a life of fulfillment with Padme. It's like, it's just such a perfect, like, I don't even know. I'm just rambling now because it's just so good, but it's literally just perfect. It's just perfect.
Okay, how do you feel about Disney's decision to reclassify the entire expanded universe, EU, as Legends and start a new cohesive canon? This is a loaded one because we know, I obviously mentioned before that Disney, as soon as they bought Star Wars, they cut everything that came prior. And that's why I was thinking, like, does the original trilogy even count? Does the sequel even count? Like, what is the Rey Skywalker stuff, is that just it now? And that's a crazy take in itself. But are we starting Star Wars over?
Unfortunately, it kind of feels like it. With all these new series, Acolyte. If you want to talk about Disney and their BS, go watch Acolyte. That is the worst thing that's ever come from Disney and Star Wars. And it literally reshapes Anakin's entire story from what we know and love. And resets it from the actual original trilogy as well. So, pretty much they have. Now, I just thought about that. Yeah. They pretty much have already restarted the entire trilogy.
I think I beat you on the Acolyte because I watched the whole season.
I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even do it.
I got
through the first episode and I was like, they tried bleeding a kyber crystal in someone's hands, which doesn't even work like that, and I just shut it off. It was awful. Terrible.
I
absolutely god awful. Terrible. Terrible.
If I didn't know what I did know currently about Star Wars, and if I hadn't seen any of the Star Wars movies or the series before watching The Acolyte, I would say that they got some good actors in The Acolyte.
They had good scenes. They had good movie scenes.
Yeah,
but
great stuff. I will say casting for that, good. But unfortunately, because the Acolyte doesn't line up, and because they're trying to say that the Acolyte takes place millions of years before even Siths are real, but they're trying to say that the Sith is in the Acolyte, even though that's not possible. Because they actually don't. The Sith army doesn't even start until episode 1. That's crazy to say. Because they're remember in the first episode, or no, second episode, when they're saying that there's people who are different among us, there's a rebellion among us.
Yep.
Yeah, it's barely forming in episode 2 and 3.
It's ridiculous. It's literally a joke. Like, I like to say, it is a joke. Like, that show is a great example of what Disney has done.